take a look at this huge estate in Encino, south of Ventura Boulevard along Luis Avenue. This is the old estate of John Wayne.
30,000 square foot estate.
This impressive property still remains, and a lot of stories here.
John Wayne is a Hollywood legend who's known for his iconic big screen performances. He also had a very big life when he wasn't working.
John Wayne. Just that name brings to mind a golden age of Hollywood, a monument with a huge film legacy. But after the spotlight, what secrets happened? For decades, John Wayne lived in his mansion in Newport Beach, until he passed away in 1979. Right away, the doors of that house slammed shut, sealing all secrets, all personal traces for over 30 years. Then, in 2011, a shocking event broke that veil of mystery. The mansion doors opened, not to welcome curious fans, but to reveal unbelievable truths. From movie props holding untold stories, to a will that tore apart family ties, these discoveries stunned the world. Are you ready to uncover what was truly hidden inside John Wayne's estate, the secrets that glittering lights of Hollywood tried to bury? Keep watching the video to learn about the life of this legendary Hollywood icon. Who inherited John Wayne's estate? John Wayne, a name etched in film history as one of the greatest legends of the American Western genre. With over 150 roles, a ruggedly handsome face, a strong, statue-like physique, and a deep, powerful voice, he became an enduring symbol, a lasting benchmark for the image of America. When his life ended in 1979 due to cancer, John Wayne left behind an estate that surprised many. But what truly shocked the public wasn't just the size of that estate, but how it was divided, a story filled with unexpected twists. Even more than 3 decades after his death, his memorabilia and assets continued to reveal truths, sparking much curiosity about the secrets hidden behind. So, who were the people named in that fateful will? And what made this seemingly simple inheritance become a constantly debated topic for many years? Could it be that behind the glitz of a star were conflicts, family secrets that only began to surface when the will was revealed? When John Wayne passed away, his estate was estimated to be worth $6.85 million in 1979. This might sound like a huge amount, equivalent to about $25 million today, but for someone as famous and successful as one of the highest-paid actors of his time, many were quite surprised. Was this all that Wayne had accumulated after so many years dedicated to the screen? Or were there secrets hidden behind this modest figure? But there's an interesting detail that makes people curious. Right before he died, Wayne sold his beloved yacht, the Wild Goose, for $750,000. This yacht had been a minesweeper in World War II, a close companion in his life. Besides the cash, Wayne's great love was real estate. His home in Newport Beach was probably one of his most famous properties. He bought it in 1965 and lived there until his death in 1979. Located on the beautiful waterfront of Balboa Island, the house looked simple from the outside, but inside it was very large and luxurious, just like Wayne's personality, both strong and approachable. Surprisingly, a year after he died, the house was sold for $5.5 million, a huge amount at that time, showing its true value. But Newport Beach wasn't the only place Wayne found a home. Before that, he owned a large 5-acre ranch in Encino. At the age of 58, he decided to leave the bustle of the ranch to enjoy a quieter life by the sea. His love for different landscapes was also shown by his ownership of properties in Arizona and Washington. Wayne even once joked that moving to Newport Beach years ago was a smart decision because I certainly couldn't afford it then. So, how big was John Wayne's real estate, and when John Wayne passed away, who got it? However, the most controversial thing wasn't his estate size, but a notable detail that emerged from his will. His third wife, Pilar Palit, from whom he had been separated and estranged since 1973, was completely excluded from inheriting any part of his estate. This omission immediately raised questions. What was the nature of their relationship in his final years? Did deep resentment still exist, leading to such a definitive exclusion from his last will? Legal documents filed with the Orange County Superior Court detailed the distribution of Wayne's assets, including $1 million in real estate, $5.75 million in personal property, and $100,000 in income from his investments. Interestingly, Wayne did remember others in his will, leaving $10,000 to his longtime secretary, Mary St. John, and $30,000 to Pat Stacy, his secretary at the time of his death. His 7 children each received a special inheritance of $5,000 multiplied by the difference between their age at his death, and this helped his eldest son, Michael, inherit a significant amount of $115,000. This thoughtful consideration for his children and staff only highlighted Pilar's clear absence from the will, making people wonder about the true state of their fractured relationship. Wayne's will also detailed the allocation of his extensive art collection, including paintings, sculptures, and Native American artifacts, all designated for tax-deductible organizations. The remainder of his estate was placed into trust accounts, one of which provided his first wife, Josephine, with a monthly allowance of $3,000 until her death, after which the funds would be divided among their 4 children. Beyond Pilar's notable omission, Wayne's will also excluded his eldest daughter's husband, Donald LaCava, from receiving any inheritance, even preventing him from receiving his wife's share after her death. The reasons behind this specific exclusion, which remain a mystery, added another layer of intrigue to the final distribution of the Duke's estate and further fueled speculation about the complexities of his personal life. The story of this estate didn't end there. Years later, tragedy continued in 2010 when Wayne's daughter Isa sued her brother Ethan and John Wayne Enterprises, disputing her share in the company that the will had also given to Wayne's children. The will also gave personal items and memorabilia to Wayne's children, but these became a point of tension. Disagreements over these items worsened family disputes, showing how the distribution of his estate created long-lasting issues. The valuable items from John Wayne's Newport Beach villa, which had been carefully sealed after his death, finally had the chance to be seen by the public. In 2011, a special event took place, bringing great joy to Wayne's loyal fans. Over 700 memorabilia items, from personal belongings to props related to his brilliant film career, were put up for auction, allowing fans the chance to own a piece of the Hollywood legend's history. Imagine a forgotten treasure, sealed for over 3 decades since a legend left this world. In 2011, the doors of that treasure suddenly opened, revealing an untold chapter in John Wayne's story. On October 6th and 7th, at the Grand Century Plaza in Los Angeles, an unprecedented event took place, attracting hearts eager to touch the past. More than 700 keepsakes from his life and vast career were brought to light, inviting fans and collectors to own a piece of the legend. At this point, the true value of John Wayne's estate was revealed. These items, as if they had just stepped out of a time machine, had been locked away since 1979, the day Wayne's Newport Beach mansion closed its doors silently. That house, along with everything inside, had become a giant memory box, and now, after more than 30 years, that box was opened. The auction was an enchanting journey back in time, where people could find all sorts of things, from heroic costumes and familiar props from the screen, to prestigious awards and even the cozy furniture from his home. Just imagine, a movie script for The Horse Soldiers, with worn pages, carefully folded to mark completed scenes, a vivid proof of his dedication to acting. Or other scripts like Wake of the Red Witch, perfectly preserved, showing the surprising meticulousness of a man who seemed only used to being free-spirited. And then, the personal belongings, small but priceless pieces of his life, books with yellowed pages, clothes with worn shoulders, his last driver's license. An ordinary item suddenly became extraordinary when it was auctioned for a sky-high price. Even the colorful collection of scarves that Wayne loved to wear was auctioned for a not-so-small price of $1,755. The auction wasn't just a place to buy and sell, but also a stage where records were broken. The Green Beret from The Green Berets, a symbol of one of his most controversial roles, was sold for a record $179,200 for a costume hat. But perhaps, the most sought-after item was the cowboy hat that Wayne wore in movies like Jake and the Cowboys, which finally found a new owner for $119,500. Wayne's Golden Globe for his role in True Grit, the role that won him his prestigious Oscar, also received special attention and was sold for $143,400. Surprisingly, even small, seemingly worthless items, like John Wayne's last driver's license, fetched an unbelievable price of $89,500. Clothes, like the pants from The Alamo and a shirt worn in many movies, were also sold for thousands of dollars. These items, in some magical way, created an invisible link between fans and their idol, bringing a strangely close and real feeling. Besides that, the gold-plated Winchester rifle that he gave to his friend Bob Shelton, sold for $113,315, showed the generosity hidden behind his tough exterior. The books in his collection, with all sorts of topics from history to military strategy, opened a new perspective on his reading interests and vast knowledge, and they were also sold to raise money for his children. Interestingly, John Wayne also owned a collection of seashells that was also put up for sale. One of the most valuable artworks was the portrait of Wayne painted by artist John Decker, which sold for $71,700. The fact that Wayne cherished this painting in his home showed how meaningful it was to him. The auction also included warm family photos, heartfelt handwritten letters, and even familiar furniture from his home. All of this gave fans a deeper look into John Wayne's private life, proving that behind the glitz of a Hollywood star, he was also a father, a friend, a man who valued his family and loved ones deeply. How was the Hollywood legend born? John Wayne, whose full name was Marion Mitchell Morrison. Wayne's real name was Marion Robert Morrison, but he often called himself Duke. Even now, people still call him by that name. Wayne once said, "The guys you see on the screen aren't really me. I'm Duke Morrison. I never was and never will be a film personality like John Wayne. I know him well. But he isn't me." Born in Winterset, Iowa, his family moved to Los Angeles when he was 4 years old. Wayne started working at local film studios after he lost his football scholarship due to a surfing accident. At this time, he found work at Fox Studios in 1927. He worked as a prop man and earned $35 a week. The job wasn't glamorous at all, but it gave him his first steps in the film industry, not as an actor but as an uncredited football player in the 1926 movie, Brown of Harvard. During this time, John Wayne became friends with director John Ford. Ford saw potential in him and gave him helpful advice. Wayne's early acting career was full of difficulties. From 1930 to 1939, he appeared in over 80 low-budget films, mostly westerns, sometimes filming an entire movie in just 2 days. He barely made enough money to live and often only ate one meal a day, usually a can of beans heated on a hot plate. By 1938, he was extremely discouraged by his lack of success and had considered giving up acting completely. However, everything changed completely with the movie Stagecoach in 1939. This movie was a big project, but casting Wayne in the lead role wasn't easy. The studio wanted a more famous actor like Gary Cooper, but director John Ford insisted on choosing Wayne, even threatening to leave the project if they didn't agree. Stagecoach became a huge hit, receiving 7 Academy Award nominations and winning 2 awards. Wayne's performance in the film made him a star overnight. Despite the movie's huge success, Wayne was paid a meager $3,700, much less than other well-known actors. However, the movie changed his life forever. John Wayne and director John Ford worked together for over 50 years and made a total of 14 films, works that reshaped Hollywood. Ford was known to be a tough director, and Wayne often bore the brunt of it on set. Whenever Ford would unleash his anger on Wayne on set, onlookers would often say, "I'm afraid Ford is going to kill him." On another occasion, while directing Wayne's acting, Ford got angry and yelled, "Can't you walk? You walk like a fat, lifeless hippopotamus. You look like a goddamn boiled egg." Yet every time he interacted with or met someone, talking about John Wayne, Ford would always say, "He's going to be a star." Indeed, Ford had an eye for talent. A prime example is during the filming of The Searchers in 1956, Ford made Wayne reshoot a simple scene, just picking up a gun, 17 times in front of everyone, making him feel incredibly embarrassed. Wayne's first Oscar nomination came with the movie Sands of Iwo Jima in 1949. He played Sergeant John Stryker, a tough Marine. Initially, Wayne didn't want to take the role because he thought it was too similar to characters he had played before. The president of Republic Pictures, Herbert Yates, had to personally convince Wayne by offering him $250,000 and a share of the profits, a very large sum at the time. Despite the resounding success and Wayne's excellent performance in Sands of Iwo Jima, he lost the Oscar to Broderick Crawford in All the King's Men. Ironically, Wayne had turned down the lead role in that movie because he considered it un-American. This loss saddened him, and it would be another 11 years before he received his next Oscar nomination. John Wayne's dream project, The Alamo, 1960, was one of the riskiest movies he ever made. He had cherished this project for over 15 years and eventually mortgaged his house, cars, and even his boat to finance it. The production costs reached $12 million, a huge amount at the time. Filming The Alamo was a massive undertaking. The crew used over 7,000 extras, 1,500 horses, and filmed for 79 days in extreme heat, sometimes reaching nearly 110 degrees Fahrenheit, around 43 degrees Celsius. There were also accidents on set. In one scene, an extra was injured by a bayonet and needed 26 stitches. Despite the many challenges, Wayne refused to cut costs. When the movie premiered, it was a major event with a parade and fireworks. Although it received 7 Oscar nominations, including Best Picture, critics had mixed reviews, and the box office revenue wasn't enough to cover the huge costs. Wayne wasn't even nominated for Best Director, which greatly disappointed him. However, the movie had a lasting impact on how people remember the story of the Alamo. It wasn't until 1970 that John Wayne finally won an Oscar for his role in True Grit. He played Rooster Cogburn, a one-eyed U.S. Marshal. Wayne almost didn't take this role because he felt too old and was still recovering from lung cancer surgery. But after reading the novel, he realized that this could be the role of a lifetime. Filming True Grit took place in Colorado, where the cold weather and high altitude made it difficult for Wayne's health. He had to use an oxygen tank between scenes. To embody the character, Wayne gained weight and wore an eye patch, which made it hard for him to see. He had to memorize the sets to avoid bumping into things. True Grit grossed over $31 million and became one of the biggest hits of his career. When Wayne was awarded the Best Actor Oscar for his portrayal of Rooster Cogburn in True Grit, he whispered to presenter Barbra Streisand, "Beginner's luck." He then spent the rest of the evening drinking with Richard Burton, who was nominated for his role as Henry VIII in *End of the Thousand Days, before pushing his Oscar statue towards Richard and shouting, "You should have had it, not me." Wayne later also admitted that it felt more like a Lifetime Achievement Award. However, no matter how famous he was, John Wayne also caused a lot of controversy with the world. In 1971, John Wayne gave an interview to Playboy magazine that caused a lot of controversy and is still talked about today. He made some shocking statements that showed his controversial views. The most talked about comment was when he said, "I believe in white supremacy until the blacks are educated to a point of responsibility." In the same interview, he also talked about Native Americans, saying that taking their land wasn't wrong, calling it a matter of survival. He even criticized the movie Midnight Cowboy, calling it perverted and using homophobic language. Years later, in February 2019, this interview came back into the spotlight when someone shared a part of it on Twitter. A screenwriter called Wayne a terrible person, and the tweet went viral. Suddenly, people were debating his legacy all over again. This debate wasn't just on social media, it also brought attention to things named after him, like the John Wayne Airport in Orange County, California. The airport was named in 1979 after Wayne passed away, but by 2020, many people were calling for its name to be changed. This happened during nationwide protests after the killing of George Floyd. On June 26, 2020, the local Democratic Party officially asked for the airport to be renamed, saying that Wayne's statements didn't align with Orange County's values of diversity and inclusion. Some people felt that keeping Wayne's name on the airport sent the wrong message to minority communities. Others, like Wayne's son Ethan, defended his father. Ethan said that his father wasn't racist and accused people of unfairly attacking his legacy. As of 2025, the airport still bears Wayne's name, but the debate continues, showing how difficult it is to deal with the legacy of controversial figures. The controversy also affected the University of Southern California, where Wayne had been a student. In July 2020, the university decided to remove an exhibit about him from its School of Cinematic Arts. This exhibit had been there since 2012, displaying movie posters and personal items to honor him as one of its famous alumni. However, students and alumni started protesting in late 2019, saying that Wayne's racist comments made the exhibit unwelcoming, especially for students of color. After months of discussion, the university decided to remove the exhibit, saying they wanted to promote anti-racism and make the school more inclusive. Some people supported this decision, while others felt it was wrong to erase history. Turbulent love life, 3 failed marriages. John Wayne's love life was full of ups and downs with 3 marriages over nearly 50 years. His first wife, Josephine Saenz, married him in 1933, at a time when Wayne's career was just starting to take off. They had 4 children together, but Wayne's growing fame kept him away from home a lot. Things got worse when he started a secret relationship with actress Marlene Dietrich in 1938. Wayne's affair with Marlene Dietrich wasn't a secret in Hollywood. It started during the filming of 7 Sinners in 1938 and lasted for nearly 10 years. Wayne was still married to Josephine at the time, but that didn't stop him from spending nights at Dietrich's house. The two were very passionate about each other. They wrote letters to each other, openly sharing their feelings. Dietrich even used her influence to help Wayne's career, making sure he got lead roles in movies like The Spoilers and Pittsburgh in 1942. Wayne tried to fix his first marriage, even taking Josephine to Mexico in 1943 to spend time together, but it didn't work out. They divorced in 1945. His second marriage to Esperanza Bauer in 1946 was full of turmoil and problems. Esperanza, a former Mexican actress, was very jealous. She suspected Wayne of having an affair with his co-star Gail Russell during the filming of Angel and the Badman in 1947. Her jealousy reached a peak one night when Wayne came home late from a party. Esperanza was drunk and so angry that she grabbed a gun and tried to shoot him as he walked in the door. Luckily, no one was hurt, but their marriage didn't last much longer after that. They divorced in 1954. Wayne's third marriage to Pilar Palit began in 1954. They stayed married until his death in 1979. They had 3 children together, and things seemed more stable for a while. However, by 1973, Wayne and Pilar had separated. Wayne then moved in with his secretary, Pat Stacey. Even though they lived apart, Wayne and Pilar never officially divorced. John Wayne and Marlene Dietrich's love affair ended in 1947, but they remained close friends for the rest of their lives. Dietrich often called Wayne the love of my life, showing the depth of their relationship. In his later years, Wayne found comfort with Pat Stacey, his secretary. After he and Pilar separated, Pat became his partner and devoted caregiver. She was 34 years younger than Wayne, but they had a deep connection. Pat stayed by his side throughout his cancer treatment, managing his life and making sure he got the support he needed. They lived together from 1973 until Wayne's death in 1979. Pat never married and dedicated her life to preserving Wayne's memory. Last days fighting cancer. John was a deeply conservative and superstitious person. One of the things that would make a cheerful Wayne lose his temper was if someone put a hat on his bed. Besides that, no one in the family was allowed to hand salt directly to Wayne. It had to be placed on the table, and then Wayne would take it. Wayne wasn't a fan of smoking, even though he smoked 5 packs a day. This was the cause of his persistent cough and later cancer. In 1964, when John Wayne was 57 years old, doctors told him he had lung cancer. This was a big shock but not too surprising, because Wayne had smoked heavily, sometimes up to 6 packs of cigarettes a day for many years. Doctors decided to remove his left lung and 2 ribs to save his life. The surgery was very risky, with only a 50% chance of survival, but Wayne pulled through and lived with no signs of cancer for 5 years. Most people might have kept their illness private, but Wayne didn't. He chose to tell the whole world. His advisors warned that this could hurt his career, but Wayne didn't care. He wanted to help others by encouraging them to get checked for cancer. But cancer wasn't done with him yet. In 1979, Wayne found out he had stomach cancer. He tried an experimental vaccine, but it didn't work. Even as his health got worse, Wayne continued to speak out from his hospital bed. He recorded messages urging more funding for cancer research. Just weeks before his death, he told people, "They may find a cure for cancer without your help, but I wouldn't bet my life on it." John Wayne passed away on June 11, 1979, at the age of 72. He died at the UCLA Medical Center after months of battling stomach cancer. His death was a huge moment for Hollywood and fans around the world. President Jimmy Carter called John Wayne bigger than life and a true American, a hero. Thousands of fans gathered outside the hospital and his home, leaving flowers, notes, and even their cowboy hats. His star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame became a place where people lit candles and remembered him. Wayne's funeral was private, but later a public memorial service was held so fans could say goodbye. This service was broadcast on television, and millions of people watched. The U.S. Naval Academy gave him an honorary membership in the class of 1979, even though he never served in the military. After his death, the Orange County Airport was renamed John Wayne Airport, showing how important he was to the people there. In 1985, Wayne's family founded the John Wayne Cancer Foundation to honor him and continue his fight against cancer. They wanted to make sure his name would forever represent courage and strength. This foundation helped start the John Wayne Cancer Institute, a leading center for cancer research that has developed new treatments and early detection methods, saving countless lives. John Wayne was always a legendary actor in Hollywood, and what he contributed and his estate probably brought many surprises. The legacy he left for cinema and popular culture is priceless. What do you think about how Wayne's estate was divided? Please comment your thoughts below. If you found this story interesting, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to follow more fascinating discoveries about the lives of Hollywood legends.